Welcome to Beyond Hormones, the Business of Wellness, the podcast for hormone and functional medicine providers who want a thriving, predictably profitable practice and maybe a little less stress along the way. Hi, I'm your host, Jody Lane, and I've worked with lots of clinics in marketing, sales, and business development, and I have seen what works and what doesn't. And here's what I believe. Hormone and wellness care should be available to everyone who wants it. And while providers know the medicine, many struggle with the business side of their cash practice. And that's where I come in. See, this podcast is here to share real strategies, real stories, things you can implement in your practice right away. So I am so glad you're here. Come on, let's go. Hey guys, before we jump into today's Fiverr, I want to tell you about the series that these episodes are a part of. Now, for the next few months, and actually for the last couple of weeks, our Thursday episodes are a part of what I'm calling the Clinic Accelerator series. It's because we're sharing short, practical strategies pulled directly from the courses inside the Accelerator. The Accelerator is our training platform for hormone and wellness clinic owners. Everything we teach inside the Accelerator comes from our POWER framework. If you remember, POWER stands for positioning, operations, workforce, experience, and revenue. These are the 5 areas that determine whether a clinic struggles or becomes predictably profitable. If this is new to you, go back through the podcast because there's an episode on each one of the pillars. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into today's idea. Now, here's the truth I want you to know. You can have the best protocols, the best outcomes from patients, the best location, the best equipment, and still watch your clinic underperform because none of that stuff matters if your team isn't aligned and engaged and all pulling in the same direction. This is about work culture, and culture is your operating system. Today, we're going to break down 5 systems, 5 actions, 5 practical, repeatable things you can actually install in your clinic. And I have done every one of these with every clinic I've ever worked with because they build the kind of team culture that retains good people, creates what I like to call entrepreneurship, and shows up in your patient experience, which is an indirect benefit, of course. All right, here's our first one. The weekly staff meeting. Now, I mean a real one, 30 minutes to an hour that is done every single week at the same time with no exceptions. And here is the agenda I want you to follow. First thing you want to do is a mood check and do a couple of shout outs to staff members who've done great things that last week. Then focus on your top 3 priorities and get a little update from any owner of those priorities and what they've been doing. Then take a look at metrics. Then 1 7-day commitment from each person. That's it. And start on time and end on time. Respect your staff's time. Now, the weekly huddle does 3 things. It keeps everyone motivated. It keeps everyone informed. It keeps priorities aligned. And it creates accountability. Oh, and by the way, here's a 4th. It's really fun. If you do this right, it will take an hour or less. It moves your entire practice forward and your staff is going to love it. All right. System number 2, the quarterly meeting. And this one is different than the staff meeting and it's on purpose. This isn't a quick status update. This is where you literally can change the trajectory of where your business is going. And I'm not making that up. If you set aside half a day, a full day is what I prefer, and share your North Star, go back to your core focus and your core values. And this is key. Ask your team to help fix or improve the problems you bring up and let them choose the projects that they want to lead. You see, when people select their own project, they're already primed for ownership. You're not assigning them work or giving them more to do. You're enrolling people into doing things that matter to them, to the patients, to the business, and that really works. Now, before you even go to the quarterly meeting, ask your team members to come up with 1 win, 1 struggle, and 1 idea they'd like to own. This single pre-meeting ask turns your quarterly meeting from something that you're standing in front of the room reporting on to a co-creation together as a team. All right, system 3, quarterly check-ins with your staff. Short 20 to 30-minute development focused meetings. Now, most practice owners I know either skip this or they turn them into nothing more than complaint sessions, and neither one of those work. Here's the framework that does. First, your employee shares their self-reflection. You offer observations and support, and together you set one 90-day development goal. Then figure out how they're going to accomplish that goal. Now, to make this the most effective, before the meeting, have your employee complete a survey and rate your clinic on your core values and name a couple of wins and a couple of struggles and identify a skill or a project that they personally want to grow in. When you come to the meeting, you do less talking. They do more. That's the point of this. You see, reviews build people up when people are actually heard. All right, system number 4, educate and invest. This is one that most owners avoid because of one thing: fear. What if I train them? I spend money on their training and they leave me. All right, here's a reframe question. What if they don't and they stay? You see, CMEs, cross-training, shadowing, a clear promotion path. These aren't luxuries for your team. These are retention tools, and they pay you back through better skills, higher morale, and an internal pipeline that means you promote from within versus scrambling to find people from the outside. Now, here is an activation mood. Here's an activation move, something you can do to get the most out of that training. When you send somebody off to training, have them come back and do a 30-minute lunch and learn and teach the team what they've learned. Now you've paid for one person to be trained, but the rest of the team gets the benefit of that value. Learning becomes a clinic upgrade, not just a line on their resume. All right, here's the last one, system 5. Schedule the fun. Now, I know that sounds transactional, counterintuitive. Fun's supposed to be spontaneous, but hear me out, because if you don't put it on the calendar, it's not going to happen. Birthdays are a great thing to celebrate. Work anniversaries are super fun. A monthly happy hour, maybe a wellness challenge, a team outing at the end of the quarter. All of these things aren't perks. They're actually connection rituals. And connection is what makes people stay and connection is what makes people stay. These are low cost, but they're high impact. If you do a shout out in the weekly huddle, it costs you nothing. If you buy a birthday card that everybody signs with a cupcake, maybe it costs you a couple of bucks. A step challenge costs absolutely nothing. What they buy you, though, is belonging, and belonging reduces turnover. Fun compounds. Small, consistent moments create a more human workplace. I've seen it happen. I've put that work into my own clinic, and I've seen the result in the culture. So there are your 5 systems: the weekly meeting, the quarterly meeting, the focused staff reviews, investing in your people's learning, and building in fun on purpose. None of these are complicated. All of them just require a teeny bit of effort, but most importantly, consistency. And together, they will create a team that owns the work, shows up engaged, and delivers the kind of patient experience that people keep coming back for. Your culture is actually a competitive advantage. If you build it intentionally, it will pay you back many times over. Now, if today's episode got you thinking about your team and your culture, whether you already have a team that needs some fixing or you're on the precipice of growing your team, I want to invite you to go a little bit deeper, because this episode is actually pulled from a full course we created, which is called Building a Culture That Performs: Staff Systems for Hormone and Wellness Clinics, which lives inside our training platform for clinic owners called the Accelerator. If you don't already have a membership to the Accelerator, go ahead and go grab one, because they are absolutely free. Inside this course, we're going to walk you through exactly how to run those meetings I talked about, how to structure your staff reviews, how to create development plans, and how to build the kind of culture that reduces turnover and drives real results inside your clinic. Now, if you would like to check it out, it's pretty simple. You can go to accelerator.acceleratedmedicalpractices.com and sign up for a free account. Now, when you get inside, you're going to see that there are already some free courses that you can take so that you can try it out. And then you can either purchase individual courses that make sense for you, or you can do what a lot of our providers do, which is buy the $99 Power Pass, which gives you access to every single course that's in there. And they're not just courses for learning. There's downloadable content that you can use to implement the things that you're learning in the individual courses. All right, one more quick thing before we wrap up. What you heard today, for the next few months, our Thursday Fiverr episodes are a part of this series that we're calling the Clinic Accelerator series. Each week, I'm going to share one practical idea to help you grow your hormone and wellness clinic. And it's all coming from our experience. This is not textbook theory. Everything we teach, we've actually done ourselves, either in our own clinic or in others. Every episode connects to a deeper training inside the accelerator. So if you want to go further, you can go in and listen to the entire training. And one last favor before I go. As you know, the hormone and wellness industry is a community. We all learn from each other. So if you know another provider or a clinic owner who would benefit from this information, please do them a favor and share this episode with them. And if you really enjoyed this and you want to get more content from us, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps out the show. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you on Monday for our next installation of our normal interview series, and next Thursday for another Fiverr, which teaches a practical tip. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for listening to Beyond Hormones, the business of wellness. I hope that you're walking away with fresh ideas and real strategies you can use to grow your practice with profit and purpose. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow the show so you never miss a conversation. And if something you heard today resonated with you, do me a favor, share this episode with a friend or a colleague. It's one of the best ways you can support the show, and it might be exactly what they need to hear right now. If you want even more tools and support, go ahead and head over to acceleratedmedicalpractices.com. Until next time, keep doing the work that matters. Your patients need you, and I am cheering you along every step of the way.